Jon and Arya together in a scene for the first time since the first season. It looks like they're by the weirwood tree in Winterfell, although we can't see the pool, so I'm not sure exactly, but there's snow on the ground, obviously. Jon has his standard brooding look on his face. He's struggling with something, and it would appear that Arya is there to give him advice, or at least listen to him. The next additional clip that we see here is, we had seen this photo of Daenerys in the original trailer, but now we can see it looks like Jorah is behind her. We see him come out of the shadows there. We get an aerial shot of Winterfell with Drogon flying towards it. This seems to be from the same sequence whenever they are arriving at the castle. And in both clips, we saw this shot of Tyrion, Varys, and Davos looking up. And to me, since this is juxtaposed with all of the footage of the dragons flying around, also the shot of Sansa looking up, it seems to me that they are pulling a fast one on us. Many people have been talking about this since the first trailer came out, because we got this footage of Drogon and Rhaegal flying around in the different settings, that perhaps they were pulling a fast one and that they didn't put Jon on Rhaegal and Daenerys on Drogon. I think this shot here kind of really ties it up, that they probably are all looking at Jon on a dragon, seeing him for the first time. And in this first teaser of the two, the other image that we see is Jon in the crypts lighting a candle, and it appears to me that he is by Ned's statue. This could be the same as the first trailer where we saw Daenerys come to Jon while he's there, but it's hard to tell from the shot that we see here. We've all been sort of expecting the crypts will play some part in Jon coming to terms with his true parentage, but I don't think there's anything additional here to give us context as to what he's doing right then. Another shot that was new is this one here that's from inside the walls of Winterfell. We can see the battle is going on. People are running around on the battlements. In the first couple of shots we see with the troops in formation with Grey Worm, you can tell that there's been an actual battle going on. When we see this, you see smoke, you see what looks like flames lighting up the horizon behind the walls. This looks a lot more like the period of time where we see Brienne, Jaime, and Pod, and Arya all fighting on the battlements. Another shot of the Unsullied in formation. This looks like pre-battle, and that's about it as far as new stuff in that trailer. The voiceover is broken up into different parts. It starts out by saying, "Think back to where we started." When I first watched it, I thought this was all Jon, this whole part, but the voice kind of cracks on the "think back to where we started," and it may be Sam's voice that we hear first. I'm not 100% sure. You guys can tell me what you think about that. Then we definitely hear Jon. He says, "Now it's just us. We need to end this war." And then we hear Jaime's voice, who says, "This goes beyond loyalty. This is about survival." The second teaser is the one that we hear Tyrion's voiceover on. The big shot in this one is Tyrion standing in Winterfell in the Great Hall. We can see Sansa sitting at the table with Daenerys to her side. Tyrion is addressing the entire room. We should imagine that the other northern lords are in the room there as well. Tyrion just says, "We must fight together now or die." Then we hear Jon again in the voiceover. He says, "Our enemy doesn't tire, doesn't stop, they're coming." Another new shot here is we see Daenerys standing in front of a fire. Jon is behind her. They look to be having a serious conversation, but there's nothing else to tell us about what they're talking about. Daenerys has a pretty spectacular looking braid, but beyond that, we can't see her face, can't see what is going on with her. We get a shot of Beric with his flaming sword in the heat of battle, so we can say for sure that he's made it to the Battle of Winterfell. I can't say for 100%, but it does look like this is him fighting with the Hound. This is the Hound silhouette in the front here. It cuts to his face in the next scene. Like I said, it's not 100%, but I think that that is the Hound coming to grips with his fear of fire. I think we're going to see him do something heroic there. We have another shot of the Unsullied here. That's a new one. They're in formation. Again, this is probably before the battle begins. We see a shot of Jon that's similar to what we've seen with the other characters. Here he swings Longclaw. The background here isn't glowing red like in some of the other battle shots we see, but I'm not sure we can make any conclusions from that. There's a quick shot of Cersei that's mixed in there that we haven't seen yet. She's wearing her crown and her full gear. It's basically just her turning towards the camera, and we can't tell who else is in the shot with her. There's another sequence of Jon running, which we saw in the first trailer, the original trailer. This is a little bit longer, I think, and we do see the fire in the background here, but I don't see anything new to give away any hints as to what is going on in that scene. There's another cool looking shot of the Unsullied, the helmets kind of in silhouette. And then there's a longer sequence of Arya fighting, which doesn't give away much more, but it's a little bit longer and a little bit clearer than what we saw in the very first trailer. So not a whole lot as far as new footage. I mean, they're 2 30-second teasers, but quite a few frames that we didn't see in the very first full-length trailer. Not much that is surprising, I wouldn't say. It's interesting to see Sansa and Daenerys sitting at the table, but I mean, that's pretty inevitable that was going to happen. Tyrion being the voice of reason. Certainly the most exciting thing is seeing Jon and Arya in a scene together. It's been a long time coming. Still no shots of Ghost that are confirmed in this one. We don't see Melisandre. We don't see any Greyjoys other than the same shots of the boats that we saw in the original trailer. We still don't see the dead here either, and I don't think that's surprising. I think they want to keep that as a big reveal, but even when we brighten up these scenes, they didn't give us much to show us actually what's happening.